Hello, welcome back. So, in the previous part, we declared war once again on Carthage, what's left of Carthage over in Iberia. So hopefully at the start of next turn we're going to fulfill the Senate mission, which should give us something. Games will be thrown at the Senate's expense. I'm hoping that's going to improve public order across the board. It might not do that, it might just improve our standing with the Roman people, which is also something that has to be done at some point in the playthrough, so still good news either way. And I think, since we are at war with them, we might have to potentially consider going across the ocean here. Is that an ocean? A sea? We might have to consider going across and actually laying siege to Corduba, because that's not a very strong army. That should be fairly easy to deal with, kind of. I mean, these are some fairly weak equites, so they might not be good enough necessarily. But other than that, I think only really the faction leader, Theophanes, particularly worries me. These others, not necessarily. I think we can surround them and rout them easily enough. Maybe not with this army alone. We probably have to wait until Demidi, which I think we did conquer in the last part. We have to wait until the public order situation levels out a bit here, because it's clearly not good enough right now. If we step out of town, they're probably going to be very unhappy, especially if we step out of town with Aulus Scipio here, who I think we do need to bring north, because we do want to have at least one general when we take on Corduba. Another thing I'm considering, although there are a couple of kind of confounding variables, is to invade Greece and to try and take Sparta. But there's the also very tempting prospect of not going to war with the Greeks and instead taking on Corinth here. That's got a faction leader and pretty strong light lancers unit there. 3 silver chevrons, so very experienced. But levy pikemen and peasants obviously aren't going to be much of a threat. And I don't know if in Sparta we're going to come across Spartan hoplites, which would be seriously difficult to deal with. And also things like armoured hoplites, we're not going to have a great time dealing with those either, so we could potentially skip Sparta. I mean, Sparta's obviously a nice town to have, but Corinth actually comes with the statue of Zeus, which I believe improves public order, but we'll soon find out if we do take it. The other potential concern is that at some point when we take this final Numidian town, we're going to find ourselves at war pretty quickly, I assume, with the Egyptians, who are the strongest faction on the map if we compare them to us. If we compare them to pretty much every other faction on the map, you can see that they are probably the biggest threat of them all, so potentially need to be pretty worried about that. But I think we're okay here. We just destroy the Temple of Milcart. As usual, I'm pretty much prioritizing public order everywhere now, so I want to go for the Shrine to Saturn. Going to improve law and public order, so lots of income, lots of public order. Just keeps things ticking along. Carthage is surprising to me. It's on its way to becoming a huge city. That's the largest possible settlement. It's made it there much sooner than I would have expected, and probably sooner than I would have liked. So that's going to be difficult to manage going forwards. At some point in the campaign, it's probably going to openly rebel, and we're going to have to take it back. But until that happens, I'm hoping we can milk it for what we can. It's losing us lots of money, but if we can get the Legion barracks, and then the next couple of barracks after that, we can have some seriously elite infantry coming out of there from very early on in the campaign. Anyway, I think we've done enough for this turn, so I think we can end the part, although I am tempted to not recruit Principes here, because I would like to have a spy, although it looks like we can't do that anyway. Recruit a spy in Messana though. Also very tempting to recruit a trireme, although it looks like we can't afford that either way, so do we want more Principes to ensure that we can win, or do we want a spy I think on balance, like, if we go across the pond, we've already committed to attacking one or the other, so it's going to be more useful to actually have a stronger infantry force, so I think we'll leave that be. Over on Cyrene, it's kind of similar distance to Sparta as it would be from Sicily, so don't need to get moving just yet, but I do want to send a faction leader. He's pretty old, he's going to die at some point, he's got a few command stars to make use of, so we might as well use him before he dies of old age. Obviously 56, not that old, but I think in the game 60 is the realistic lifespan. I think we're good just to end the turn there. Now the Seleucid Empire just have the one town left, so I want to make it to them and rip them off as soon as possible. Right, games will be thrown in our honour at the Senate's expense. Now, can we find out anything useful about that? Carthage, I think, is getting less happy, if I remember right. Public order, entertainment, that's probably the worst possible town to actually check that in because we already have our own games going on. Let's try Lepsis Magna. Public order, looks like... Yeah, it looks like it didn't actually improve the public order situation at all, so I'm assuming it's just bumped us up on the popularity rankings. Not really. Everything seems more or less the same. So that seems like a slightly pointless thing to have accomplished. Now we're prematurely at war with Carthage again, so hopefully there was some kind of benefit to that that's not immediately clear. Principate has been completed in Syracuse. A couple of shrines are done. We've got a little bit of money here. Games held in Thapsus. I guess that's where we got the public order bonus then. Maybe that's what it was. Having a similar problem here actually. Massive population, lots of squalor. But what makes this slightly different is we don't have a palace to be building. So what the hell are we supposed to do about public order here? A large temple of Saturn seems like the obvious choice, I guess. Yeah, we're going to have to do that because people are not happy here. I want to recruit some Equites as well, because I'm pretty worried about this guy who is on his way to liberate Nepte, and just that general unit alone, because it's the leader of the faction. Plus I think he had another family member with him. I could send my spy to go and have a look.
Yes, master.
But I actually want us to get moving east now so that we can see any other Numidian attacks coming. Plus we can have a look at what's going on with Egypt. I think he has two family members, so there's him, and he has a bodyguard unit of around 90. We can't actually see them anymore. And then he's got a backup family member who's going to have a similar kind of strength to Placus here. So Placus alone is not going to be able to take him on at all. We've got two very weakened units of Equites. It's going to be very hard to try and rout them, so the only way we can really deal with them is by probably joining up with a force from Thapsus. Need to be a bit careful though. I do want to go after him, I think.
Imperator.
I actually think our factionaire here probably has a better chance of winning a fight with that particular army than our other choice, which is Placus. Purely because he's got so many cavalry that he can potentially rout the bodyguard unit if he can charge into it simultaneously from all sides. Either way, it's a bit of an annoying situation. Egypt has overtaken us as the most advanced faction, and we're not making much money, which is fine and expected. Now, what should we be prioritizing in terms of building? So something I want to try and do in general is to get growth rates down across the empire. And I saw somebody online when I was doing some research suggested, actually this one can go up a little bit, suggested that it's actually a bad thing to build baths and what's the other one? Aqueducts and things like that. Because the bonuses you get from public health also lead to an increase in population growth. And the population growth increase actually outweighs the public order increase, so actually in the end you're making your towns less happy by going down that road. That's kind of annoying and counterintuitive and probably not intended by the devs, but something to bear in mind if we get tempted to build any more of those. I'm not going to go ahead and just start demolishing them just yet, but I'll be a little bit more reluctant to build them from now on. Anyway, let's get these Principes on board, and I don't think we're going to get attacked as we cross the ocean, but let's actually get this guy ready. So Flavius the Lewd is only 32. I'm going to try and... Wait, what's he got with him? Priest of Vulcan and Inventor. I'm going to try and move the Drill Master and the Spy Master over to him. Because then we've still got them when Julianus dies, and he might die just trying to take Sparta and or Corinth. Still not decided about that one. I don't think the rebels tend to go through the middle of the ocean. So I think we're going to be okay just to pass straight across with just the one unit of navy. I do wish I brought a few more velites with me, because against all these phalanx units, very powerful phalanx units, we're going to want some pretty good options to harass them, which we don't currently have. We just have infantry, and I'm not convinced our infantry will do that well. Captain Calchas here is a concern too, because he can definitely get back to Sparta and reinforce it. Macedon is collapsing anyway, so maybe we should just finish them off. They've really not got much left. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Anyway, we're going to start crossing and we're going to make our decision at some point. We're going to need a little bit more than this, so let's begin sending over who we can. We definitely want the velites, I think. Principes. I'm going to check that army again just to see the cavalry to infantry ratio. Looking fairly balanced. Let's just give them another Hastati and start heading over. I'm pretty tempted to go for Corinth now, because the Greeks are not such pushovers after all. Macedon, on the other hand, been mostly destroyed by Thrace already. Not the Brutii yet. I do want to try and stop the Brutii from expanding as much as possible. There is a massive Thracian army on its way south. Not sure how it would actually get to Corinth without violating borders, but they must have some kind of plan. If they do go to war with the Brutii, I'm hoping we can try and help them out in one way or another. Let's see, is there anything else we can recruit or buy? Just look through a few towns, see if anything jumps out. I suppose roads here would be nice. Then we've got a little bit more that we can use to buy equites perhaps, or probably Astarte would be better there. Temple of Saturn actually would be a good thing to have. Let's cancel the roads. They're not going to make much of a difference. Cancel the roads and get building the temple to Saturn, and let's just have a look. How unhappy do they get? So they're not going to rebel yet. What types of units are we going to need? I think I actually would like some equites, just to take out that faction leader. How are they doing now? Still 80%, that's good. Maybe the cavalry don't make a difference to public order. Sure they do.
Imperator.
Still 80.
Orders.
I want to be mobile, so I'm not going to send any infantry with him. Just going to try and get him to Tingi as soon as possible.
March.
Which is the fastest way. Looks like this is.
Move out. No more moves, sir.
Don't have enough money to build a watchtower. I'm not sure if it's actually going to be worth building watchtowers. There shouldn't really be anything that can threaten us here, except possibly rebels.
Your Honor.
But hopefully not even that. Now is this looks like a Seleucid border to me.
At once.
We might be about to find their final town, which might be right here. There's something under siege right here. Or at least being pillaged. And there's also a road leading to it, whatever it is. So we might be about to witness the end of the Seleucid Empire. Otherwise, I'm not sure I want to cross just yet. One interesting thing to note about Carthage is, although they have a weak military, they have loads of money. They're extremely rich. So whatever they can recruit, I think they will recruit. So potentially an argument for attacking them as soon as possible. I'm not too bothered about leaving this blockaded. Tempting just to go across, knowing what we're up against. It's actually in revolt. 75% public order, so it's recovering. Perhaps we want to send across a few more units.
No more moves,
We
sir.
can. I'm not sure I'm ready to invade them just yet, so I'm going to keep the blockade up. And we'll then turn. I don't think this army alone is going to be enough to take Corduba. It could do, but unnecessarily risky. We take more losses than we need to.
Ready.
What's likely to happen in any case is we'll take out Carthage, and then we'll go to war with Spain. By the time we finish off Spain, we're going to be kind of bumping up against the southern edge of Gaul, which at that point might all be in Julii hands. And we won't be able to expand any further at that point anyway, so there's no real reason to rush that. I think we're pretty much done.
Your Honor.
I'll use this diplomat to see what's going on.
Without delay.
If we can find that last Numidian army.
Honor. Without delay.
Be a bit careful of that.
Sir.
Potentially need to step out of this town as well. But even with that one unit of Equites, I'm not sure we have enough here. I'm not going to do that just yet. Let's just end the turn. So Macedon has stepped out. Oh wow, they actually want us to go to Sparta and attack it. But the reward is pathetic. An appointment to an office. I'm not sure that's really going to make any difference at all. There's also a Greek navy here. Slightly concerning. However... No, that's Captain Eurytos. There was another captain who looked like he was on his way
Yes, Captain. Aye, aye, Captain. Set sail.
back to Sparta.
Moves depleted, sir.
Let's
Set
see what became of
sail.
him if we can.
Ready to sail. Set sail. Yes, Captain.
Yeah, that's really strong. Armored hoplites too. Strong units. I don't want to fight that.
Ready to sail.
Definitely don't want to
Yes,
fight that.
Captain. Moves depleted, sir.
Let's try and catch Macedon out instead. And at some point we're bound to go to war with Greece, but Corinth is the best prize of the bunch. Thapsus, we got some Equites. Retinue expands. Lucius Scipio, who are you? Governor of the capital. That'll be probably the academy in action. And an inventor. A little bit of money to work with here.
Ready
And
to
save
sail.
money for mercenaries though. Perhaps this is not doing too well. I think we're going to need to recruit. Well, because I did say that Carthage is likely to rebel, I think we do want some proper units here. I don't think it's going to rebel yet. It's going to be a while. I'm going to try and fight it off for as long as possible. But it will rebel at some point, I think, in the playthrough. And we're going to want some kind of actual military presence in North Africa at all times, just to deal with any rebels. Who are these? Full of useless Numidian diplomats still hanging around. There's no way that there's any threat between here and Tingi.
General, march.
Keep Alice coming. Let's have another look.
Awaiting your command.
Can't be too far off now.
Your honor, at once, without delay.
It's actually slightly concerning to me. Perhaps I should recruit a spy just to try and find them again.
General. Onward! Move out! Move out!
I'm sure they're going to appear at some point with that force.
Yes.
In the meantime, let's start building up. So before we go into these kind of cheap buildings, let's actually consider alternatives. Something I did notice is that on the financial screen, trade is starting to catch up to farming now. So we might want to start building... I'm reluctant to build markets because markets increase population growth. But we might want to start building more ports and things like that. Shipwrights and similar such upgrades. Lily Biome, you're not too happy. I do want to increase public order pretty much everywhere. Large Temple of Neptune doesn't do too much. Shipwright would be pretty useful, just for the trade. I think we're going to go with... Paved roads is going to be useful because we do sometimes send units across anyway. Actually, before we go into that, let's see what kind of big things we can recruit in Capua. Actually got rebels appearing next to our capital, which is not ideal. They might just be peasants.
Sir! Engage the enemy!
I think they are literally just peasants. The town watch. Okay. I don't really want to fight that. We'll see how much it drops public order by. Let's go with... Dockyard is tempting for King Karim. Nice strong unit. Let's go with the arena just to keep people happy, and then... Actually, we can get roads over in Cyrene, which we know is an option. And finally, we can just recruit an extra military unit over in Tingi. I'm gonna go with more Hastati, I think. We want a fairly balanced force. We don't want to be all cavalry, especially not against infantry. It's not quite as clear-cut as it is against the Numidian forces, which are overwhelmingly skirmishers and very cavalry weak. Now I do have a diplomat who is slowly making his way over.
Noble master?
Sadly,
Without
not going to get there in time, but it would have been nice to see if we can get someone to pay us before we go to war. I think it is sometimes an option to ask for payment before you go to war with someone's enemies. Let's have a look. It still appears to be owned by the Seleucids, but we can see the Egyptians
Without delay.
with some free forces
Out of moves.
walking around. Possibly it's just north here, so we'll have a look next turn.
Moves depleted.
Thapsus. We're already doing all we can for Thapsus, so I think we're pretty much done for the turn. We've got that spy, who I think is
Your honor.
already tasked.
Moving. Out of moves, sir. Can I be of service?
Okay, let's end the turn. Okay, Carthage going north. Wait, who's this? Going to Scipio. This is the town on the south. I didn't think we were going to get it just yet. They're sallying forth. Now they're just slingers and javelin men, so should be very easy. Famous last words, but we'll see. Okay, now they have to come to us. I'm just gonna walk away, and that way, if we rout them, we should be able to chase them down. Nice long route. Looking like they're only marching as well, so we can literally speed this up. We should be faster than them. Just build up some distance. Not gonna try and skirmish with them, with the Numidian mercenaries. Oh, they are actually running now. Okay, let's bear that in mind. Javelin men. I think we do just want to charge in and rout these while they're relatively isolated. They seem to be pulling back now. I don't think that changes anything. Try and mass rout. Don't let them start throwing things at us. Okay, already routing. Perfect. And let's do as much damage as we can before they regain their courage. If we can rout those slingers, that would be perfect. Battle will end immediately if we can manage that. We should see their allies routing. We just need to rout them as well. So far, no losses. Can we keep it up? They're losing men very quickly.
The gods be praised!
Perfect.
This is a heroic victory, worthy.
0 losses. That does not happen often. Pretty much pointless of them to sally forth because all they really did was give us some nice experience for our units. Plus now we at least have the city walls to protect us when the next man arrives. This is an absolutely desolate place. 186 people to massacre. It's never gonna grow, it's never gonna do anything. We're not gonna be able to recruit any useful units here either. And yet, public order situation is persistently bad. So we're stuck. Now.
Can I be of service? Without delay. Moves depleted.
Very uncomfortable to not know where Numidia's strongest force currently is. Very interesting that Carthage is going north with pretty much everything. I don't think they're at war with Spain. We can find that out. So either they're... no, they're not. They're allies with Spain. Either they have another town to the north, or another town to the north has fallen to the rebels. And that's pretty much all the possibilities, I think. There must be some reason they're going north. Faction leader is still in there. He's got another family member backing him up, which is unfortunate. I'm going to wait until our cavalry arrive, and we're going to recruit more Hastati, just so that we have a properly nice force. When we do go and invade Iberia, they're in Cirta. No need to build there, I don't think. Market would increase population growth. Not a priority at all. Carthage, very unhappy. Might have to bump them up to daily games. It's very expensive, but we've only got 3 turns to kill, and then hopefully they'll be happy after that. I will recruit some peasants, because we need those. Over here. Well, I'm not sure about peasants actually. Because we could get a spy here, and I think having a spy around here is going to be useful. Just to see where that final group of units went. Final Numidian force. But it would take too long to track them down anyway, so let's just go with peasants. Potentially retrain as well. Not worth the money. See what we can do with this money. And also, it's quite a big turn because we have to make the final decision about who we attack. Now here's Greece's capital, which has been emptied out. But there is a large Greek force headed north. Most likely to take Corinth. So they're both fairly open, they're both fairly vulnerable.
Fleet ready.
But where do we drop off? We drop off in Sparta. could attack Sparta immediately. And it's very tempting because it's so open.
Ready to sail. Aye, Captain.
But I think we should save the game first. I'm not planning to change anything necessarily. I'm going to actually make a new save file here because I had a system which I've forgotten about. I think we want to go for Sparta. It's just that little bit easier. Corinth is so open though, and this army actually could be pretty tough. Could be similarly tough to the Greek army. And in that case...
Ready to sail! Ready to sail! Set sail! Disembark! Aye aye, Captain! Fleet ready! Yes, Captain!
Okay, fairly strong force here. Mercenary Hoplites, I definitely want to do that. I think we're going to want those. Mercenary Peltasts, relatively cheap. Let's get them. We want a full force here.
Sir!
Let's attack Sparta.
Battle. Besieging
Okay, we're now at war with the
settlements,
Greeks. I'm not sure how good they are, not sure how much they have left. Let's just get as much as we can.
Sir. Ready to sail!
Join our fleets together. Fortunately, I don't think it's possible if we have 2 units with command stars. Let's have a look. What have you got here? Just biremes.
Ready to sail! Fleet ready! Aye, Captain!
Go and hit them.
Prepare to engage! Victory!
Blockade the port.
Completed, sir! Aye,
Just to
Captain.
fulfill the Senate mission, and I think that's going to be it. War with the Greeks. Temple of Saturn is complete in Numidia. It's going to keep them slightly happier. Try and reduce this growth rate a bit. Oh no, it's not good enough. Not happy about that. Well, if we recruit some peasants, it's probably fine.
Sir!
What else is going on? Starty. New family member. The largest faction, I think that's just the number of settlements, perhaps? Although that's a bit strange because
Noble master.
Egypt's not about to lose one.
At once, your honor. At once, without delay.
Alright, let's follow the roads. We should find something eventually.
No more moves.
Okay, masses are happier with us now. That might be related to the Senate mission we completed earlier in the part. We're up to 4 notches now, so they're still a way off being able to betray Rome. Nepte. We've got a nice fully blocked up West North African continent now, all blue. But this is a pathetic town. Literally 400 population, I'm not sure you can get much lower. Just to keep these guys happy, we're going to need Hastati, I think. Just going to need to keep those coming.
Ready to sail!
Let's prepare our ships. Let's just get in.
Imperator! Imperator!
Now, how unhappy will they be if we step out? Still happy, excellent. Let's all get on. It's actually a pretty happy town. Let's go up to normal tax rate and pick some other towns too. Thapsus is the least happy of the bunch. Cyrene, it looks like, can go higher. We probably do want to. Yeah, we do want a bit of growth in a town this small though, so not sure about that one. Stay at high tax rate. 3% growth rate's not so bad.
Your Honor, secrecy is assured.
Another Numidian army.
Out of moves,
Pretty weak.
sir.
Not worth chasing down though. Still pretty concerned about the final Numidian force. What I might do is...
Orders!
Quintus is getting old. Hopefully he'll survive for long enough to actually deal with the final Numidian force. But it's tempting to step out just to recruit a few mercenaries. Don't have the money right now, but I think that's going to be something worth doing. Now let's end the turn and see. I'm hoping if we have any luck at all, it would be a strange choice. Very stupid, but I wouldn't put it past the AI to do something stupid. The Greeks might go and attack Corinth, instead of coming back to help Sparta. It would be a terrible decision on their part, but perhaps that's what they'll do.
General!
Send the turn and find out. Okay, Corinth is now fully supported, and looks like they've made it back somehow. A pretty massive force. I think that is their whole army. I'm just not sure how they got to our right. That seems slightly strange. Right, let's save it. Just in case something horrible happens. And let's have a go. It's on them to come to us. Worth bearing in mind. Okay, now this is the closest thing we have to a hill. I guess it is yeah, it is a pretty nice hill actually. So I've moved all my units right back to the edge of the map. Hoping they can exhaust themselves coming to us. We can try and use the hill to our advantage. That's the plan. I don't actually know what they have though. That's quite concerning. Reinforcements are coming. We can isolate those and finish them off, that would be ideal, but they're not going to get here until quite late. You can see lots of phalanxes coming our way. Quite concerning. Not seeing too much resembling ranged units. Pretty difficult to tell from this distance, obviously. Need to be very careful here. Armoured hoplites. We know they have armoured hoplites, and armoured hoplites are going to be very difficult to deal with. Up here they've also got hoplites. So not going to be an easy fight for our cavalry. We can only really use them to flank. And their units in general, I think, are superior to ours. I suppose they would be fairly vulnerable to skirmishes. So we're going to send our velites forward, see what we can do. These look like a cavalry unit, I think. They're so pixelated and far away that I can't really tell. I think that's a cavalry unit. Possibly another cavalry unit there. Lots of cavalry, in fact. Worth just trying to rout those. Might not actually be cavalry. I think that could be peltasts or something similar. As looks like they're going fairly defensive. Yeah, so this is definitely some kind of skirmisher unit. These are cavalry, militia cavalry. There should be a general somewhere. In that case, the militia cavalry is the general. That's good to know. Means the actual family member is here with the reinforcements. Peltast there. Right, you guys are getting dangerously close. I'm not too comfortable with that. Skirmish mode is on. But if their cavalry charge us, not too sure what we can do about that. We can isolate this family member. I don't think that will actually affect the morale of the other Greeks, unfortunately. Let's see, those are just normal hoplites. Probably worth weakening them. They're pretty tough. If it were militia hoplites, I wouldn't bother. Peltasts coming in too close to the hoplites for me to really have a go for at the moment. Some kind of Greek cavalry unit near the coast. Not worth going out of our way for. Yeah, lots of militia cavalry. Tempting to charge those down, but they can outrun us. General's bodyguard there. I have to name one unit that's the scariest of the bunch, it's probably those. So armoured hoplites, armoured hoplites. There's no sign of any Spartan hoplites, which is good. Some militia hoplites. Try and rout those. And some kind of large cavalry unit there. Now, they must be getting pretty close at this point. Yep. Okay, let's try and charge those before they rout us. They will rout us pretty quickly. These guys should be doing a slightly better job of running away than that. Since they're not. Okay, they've actually given up already. Let's just try and rout them if we can. Massively outnumber them. Okay, we've at least taken 1 for 1. Now, armoured hoplites. Very close to the Greek general there, so I'm reluctant to engage just yet. We'll unfortunately could not rouse the peltas there, so they're probably gone. Now I don't want my cavalry to get too isolated, to get too cornered here. It's not looking like the easiest thing to get out of right now with such mass cavalry, so I'm actually going to try and go all the way around if I can. Need them to stay disciplined, do not want them charging into hoplites. The last thing you want your cavalry to do is try and be clever and charge into a stacked phalanx unit, as we're taking some painful casualties from skirmish units there. Just see if we can just get through without any trouble. So that's one thing we do have over them. We're much more maneuverable. I think it's now recognized that they are much closer to us. Sadly, that's going to be the Velites gone. Didn't see that Greek general moving in quite that quickly. Try and rout the Greek cavalry there. Need to be a little bit concerned about the general's bodyguard. Can do some serious damage. Need to bring some kind of cavalry force back. Ideally, our own general. Yeah, this is going. I think we're winning there. Okay, we've routed them, that's good. Keep these guys at the back. Now what's happened with this general? He's pulled back a bit. Okay, this is actually slightly uncomfortable, the angle. Try and get around the back and rout them. It's going to be tough though. See if we can get through here. It's too dangerous. Oh, that's really bad. It's just that gap is not large enough to come through. We've got our own militia hoplites attempting to do something. We are throwing our peeler. Hopefully doing some nice damage. Sadly, only 2 militia hoplites right there. I'm expecting, yeah, we're starting to rout. Need to get around the back. 100%. Yeah, they have successfully begun to rout us. We're just going to have to try and go through, I think. There's not enough space. Really not enough space. Right, you guys at least should be able to surround and finish off that hoplite. No cavalry to get involved. Right, you guys attack them. Don't go in that way. Okay, we're at least hitting them from the back, that's a start. Now where's his general? Not engaged in the fight just yet. Militia hoplites here, they should be routed pretty quickly, but this difficulty is tough. Let's charge into those. You guys go for the militia hoplites. You guys, I think you should have enough room now to get around the back of these things, which is going to be absolutely necessary. Go for these Greek cavalry. Routed 1 unit. Now let's try and hit these from the back. Normal hoplites, let's try and get them off as much as we can. Loop around the back. Here's the Greek general. I don't want to. Yeah, I really don't want to fight him like that. Not like that. Gonna have to fight him at some point though. Nice charge in the back there. There's Greek cavalry is coming in. There's probably a bit of friendly fire going on there. I think we have to surround and attempt to finish off the Greek family member as the mass routes begin. Not sure who I've even got here. Okay, these guys can actually do some damage if we can get around the back. Not routed him, but he's at least pulling back, which is good.
Fill the heart of the enemy general with fear. Now he flees the field like a coward.
Okay, that's good. That is very good. You guys come around the back. Keep chasing. I think sadly, because he survives, I think that means he gets to go back to the town. and we have to carry on with the siege, which is unfortunate, but this is definitely the vast majority of their forces right here. As looks like the armored hoplites are understandably causing some trouble. Now what have we got left? Our own general, that's about it. Our other general is at least alive, which is good. Beltas, let's try and rout them. As we need to try and get around the back of one of these. Otherwise we're going to be routed. Yeah, we have been mass routed. That's really bad, okay. Looks like we're actually going to lose the fight. Just got the one general unit left, actually both generals. I have to use them very well. Yeah, no way we can win that. Don't think we can really get our men to regain their courage either, unfortunately. Okay, we've actually got a couple back. Let's see, where are these? Let's try and get everyone together. I'll stand. They just have too many units left for us to realistically have any chance of winning this one. At least we should have lots of survivors off the field. You want to try and rout these. I think they're a bit faster than us. And certainly less tired. Speed this up, I think. Getting hit by the skirmishers. Beltas might be able to rout them. Hoplites shaken but not wavering. There are the armored hoplites. There's the biggest problem of the bunch. I don't think they have any ranged units left. Let's try and group up on this hill. Yeah, they do have this final unit. Very irritating unit. I think they're coming in for an attack. Cavalry charge. Try and rout them.
Gods be praised!
Okay, they're gone.
The enemy general is dead! His men know their doom approaches!
That's a very poor decision by the Greeks there. They're only going to lower the morale of these armored hoplites. They seem to be isolating themselves. Be very important. These guys still have some ammo left. Want them to go in first. Okay, let's try and rout them. Shaken. I would not be that surprised if this one unit somehow manages to mass rout us before we can rout it, despite full surround happening here. They're still steady. Hitting them in the back and flanking them about as much as we can be. But they're still confident of their victory, in spite of everything. Faction leader here could die.
Your leader runs like a terrified old woman. Roman honor is intact, but our Roman glory lies in
Don't die.
tatters after
There's a family member here. I don't want him to die. That sucked. But is it the end? There should be something left. Something usable. Those armored hoplites, though, are seriously tough to deal with. So yeah, we've joined the ships. They want us back in Corduba. We can do that. That's going to be fine. The problem, Sparta, and the fact that most likely Macedon could take it opportunistically before we can do anything. Let's see what we actually have
Ready to
left.
sail.
Something. That's not a terrible army. I'm tempted to go straight back in with a rejuvenated force. Our family members have got a lot of their units back, which is nice. We can't recruit any more mercenaries, which is unfortunate. I don't want to give up just like that. Sure, that's got to be beatable. Especially on a map where we don't get our cavalry trapped quite so much. They don't have any cavalry left. In fact, they should only have infantry now. There is the faction leader who could come back out. I'm not sure that was the faction leader. It might have been just a normal family member. But he's going to have his own units back. Otherwise, it's mostly just these hoplites, and if we surround them again, I would hope that we could rout them. That'll be worth trying. But I think we'll leave all that stuff for the next part, along with our attack on Corduba, which I think we will assault
Imperator.
very shortly.
Imperator. Joining the
That's going to be it for one part. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time.